Me.
It's a fight.
Hello, and welcome to Entertain This, a podcast about movies, TV shows, and video games and Mitch's drink. Yeah. My name's Hayden. With me I have Mitch.
Hello.
And Tom.
That'll just sub in for Tom. That's what he would say anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. No, Tom's not here again. Everybody, find him on social media.
Make fun of him.
Give him crap.
He hit a work or something like that. Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about an assortment of things. My spiel will be the conformity gate. I don't know what that means. If you're not a Stranger Things fan or into the show, there's still a lot of interesting things that happen around the series finale that I think is worth talking about. But before we begin, social media Mitch.
Well, you can go to entertainthispodcast.com, which take you to our Facebook group and page. You can also go to our X, Instagram, and TikTok, which are at @entertainthis_, and our YouTube, which is entertainthis59.
Very well done.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mitch, did you watch Stranger Things?
I did. I watched all of it.
All the way to the end?
Yep. I watched the New Year's Eve one at 2 in the morning on New Year's Day.
What did you think of that ending?
I'll say this. I watched, somebody shared it on, I think it was from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody remade the ending in 5 days using AI.
Yeah.
And it looked better.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, granted, yeah, they had to use some scenes from the show, but they remade it, included the Demogorgons, made the, the mind flare look a little more intimidating. Yeah. Made the final battle actually look like they had to fight.
When you watch the show and you see the end, even if you knew nothing about it, like just watch the show and didn't research anything online and follow these fan theories and stuff, getting to the end, you would still, I think, be like, what happened? Something like they were going a direction and all of a sudden they just course corrected to a brick wall, like something's not right here. So, but there's let's get into the details of why even I, like, in the night following up before the 12th, which was like the last day that they could have, per the fans, leaked this like secret episode that would have blown everything out of. That's what conformity gate is. So
before we get started, I'll just say there might be spoilers because I might slip up. So if you don't want to,
this show is I'm going to talk about spoilers, all these little facts and stuff.
So if you haven't seen it and you've been waiting years to finally see the end,
you'll be all right. It's kind of like talking about Lost. Like it's a bad ending for a show. So the problem with Stranger Things is this. The show has a lot of weird intricacies and has become a victim of its own rule set to the point where it couldn't even abide its own rules.
I feel like the rules kind of changed every year anyway.
Right, because they needed to have that character exposition go the way that they wanted it to, but they had to ignore the rules that they had previously established. So that's like, in Game of Thrones, people were upset when they could like instant message these pigeons or ravens or whatever to get messages across, and then eventually by the end of the show, they're like basically teleporting from one side of Westeros to the other. When the whole premise of season 1 was like the geography of the show was a big problem on how these characters, survived and interacted.
Yeah, because the first season, they actually traveled by horse to the destination they needed to go. And then at the end, they're like, send a pigeon. Yeah. The next scene, oh, look, he said.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that stuff they just basically started teleporting, off camera. And you just, like, they expected you to go with it. So Stranger Things also suffered from violations of its own rules. And that's what kind of like led to the hollowness, the cheapness, and I guess what the audience would consider is, a crappy ending. And everybody's pretty much there. On the consensus is it was a letdown.
Yeah, the one theory that I really liked that didn't pan out would have been a lot cooler.
The mind flayer controlling everything from the get.
Well, there's that, but there was another one where Eddie didn't die.
Oh yeah,
because because everything revolves around D&D essentially in this show. There's I don't know what it's called, but there's like a very popular like painting of where this vampire knight fighting the leader of the mind flayers or whatever, and that could have been Eddie.
Yeah,
because he dies from the little vampire, little bat things that bite him, or you think he dies because you never actually see him gone.
Yeah,
he's left behind.
Yeah, so
that'd have been cool.
What I think that the show is made by these brothers called the Duffer Brothers, and it's 10 years old. So like there's a lot of behind the scenes things,
but only 5 seasons.
Right. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that happen in the show that caused it to be dragged out this long with such little content that we'll get into later. Regardless, I think they had a very strong open, obviously, because it's like a cultural phenomenon.
Well, yeah.
And, the reason being behind it was the mysteriousness of the show. Like, why is it in the 80s? Yeah. What is this, weird science fiction, maybe fantasy world that these kids have stumbled into? And these monsters that are, nondescript that you've never seen before. And there's, it's kind of like they let you peek behind the curtain just enough to know that there's rules and mechanics going on into how the fantasy of this world works, but you'll have to keep watching to figure it out.
Well, because the first season, you don't even realize what the Upside Down is until the last episode or so when you actually see what the Upside
and
Down.
They have insane amounts of rules involving the Upside Down. Like you have to wear a suit, you have to be tethered into some things. And, you can only spend so much time, and then how it interacts with the I don't know what you call it, our world, the overworld or whatever. They were still figuring that stuff out. Yeah. By season 5, they're just living in the Upside Down, running through, breathing in all the stuff. They don't care, nothing bad. So, yeah, the degrading factors of the mystery became mundane, ignored, or it wasn't a threat all along, kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's just that's why the show kind of tanked, I think.
Well, because at one point in this last season, they reveal that Will is the one that dug all the tunnels with his mind.
Well, so I kind of read something that I guess they kind of glanced over it a season or two ago. I can't remember exactly when, but I guess he was doing it in his sleep in a previous season. I just don't remember it.
Well, yeah, because I see something where his eyes are closed, his eyes are moving around, and you can see him moving under the eyelids. Yeah. But there's nothing that explains that's what's happening.
Right.
Until the very end.
Yeah. Yeah. So the premise of the show is 1980s Hawkins, Indiana, just some Midwest, never heard of before town. For some reason, it has an army installation that is looking into super powered children. And, they have this girl that they've called 11 because there's 12 kids. Yeah. And she has the means to, tap into another dimension, which is essentially the Upside Down, I guess.
Yeah, because it doesn't really explain, because there's the Upside Down, and then they reveal that that's just a bridge to this other world that somehow one is a part of.
Yeah, the grand reveal is that the Upside Down is a wormhole to another planet where the Mind Flayer was living and the Demogorgons and whatnot. And the first kid of the 12, his name was Henry Creel. He gets killed by 11 or something, but essentially he becomes evil and tries to he gets in contact through the Upside Down to the Mind Flayer, which is this monster that lives in the other planet.
Well, in season 5, they reveal he touches some kind of rock that infects him with the powers.
Right.
And then 11 pushes him through the wall into the Upside Down.
Right.
And then it doesn't really explain how the Mind Flayer takes over him and makes him part of the other world.
So, that whole, the last season that shows a memory of him as a kid. Yeah. Interacting in a mine with some weird dude that tries to kill him that has a suitcase with the rock in it, which is from the other world, the Mind Flayer world. Right? Well, there apparently is a comic or something, a play, I can't remember, but there's a thing that explains the story of how that rock got to there. And I was like, oh, okay, so the Duffer Brothers have written enough backstory, but kind of hidden it, not mainstream level.
I do know they're supposed to be a spinoff show where revolving around that rock and how it comes to be or whatever.
Right. Well, it's going to be a prequel.
Yeah.
So if this is the end of the story, the follow through was bad, and my mindset was if they have all of these little prequel intricacies figured out, we could, like all this conformity gate secret episode stuff, it could actually be true.
Yeah.
So I delved in. I did some research and I went down to the TikTok, Instagram, dark places to try and read what everybody's theories was, and they were really compelling theories. Like I was like, yeah, you know what? I think that it would happen. They could shadow drop an extra episode just to surprise everybody. And marketing wise, like from a production standpoint, it would be phenomenal. Like you would just destroy everybody's preconception of what a TV show finale is. And there was proof behind this missed opportunity because they didn't do that, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but let me get into some of the details of why. Like, there's some sprinkled in evidence that made sense of this shadow drop of this conformity gate. In the final season, characters were wearing yellow ribbons, right? They referenced yellow a lot in the show. That it's the mind flayer indicator. That it's called the color of decaying logic. I don't know if it's a D&D term or whatever, but they had called it that. And a lot of people thought that this ending was bad on purpose because the mind flayer was actually in control of what's going on and, forcing an unreal ending.
Mm-hmm. I think I did see some of this stuff that you might be coming up on, but
right. Yes.
As far as an article that I was reading as well.
And there's some deep dive stuff where people would slow down audio and the finales and whatnot, and found out there's a slow clock, which is that grandfather clock chime is akin to Vecna and whatnot. So there was some stuff going on that you would have to look extra through the sound files and stuff, and take the recordings or download the episode and then manipulate it to find these weird specific things. Otherwise, if you're just watching straight up, you would never notice. One of the biggest indicators was, I think, which is a really good example of this situation, was there was really bad lighting at all times. In the daytime, there would always be two shadows, one from the sun and one from some nondescript place where a lighting came from.
I never noticed that. Okay.
Yeah. So people thought, okay, that's an example of something making up this false world and not understanding how the lighting works.
Right.
But now people realize that
that's just bad lighting.
It is just bad lighting. So, I think that this kind of goes into, more of what this is all about. But let me give one more example before we move on into the quotes of the show from the cast and crew. There was an episode 9 placeholder on Netflix. There was a blank icon after the finale.
Yeah.
And it was there for hours after the finale aired. And people thought okay, that's proof. They're just teasing us, letting us know that something's coming out. Yeah. And it was a glitch in the UI. They just took it out. So that hidden slot, just another thing. Netflix is just I don't know. And all right, so here's some quotes from the cast and crew. Maya Hawke said, "I think people are looking for a trap door that isn't there. We told a story we wanted to tell. Sometimes the monster just loses, and that's it." All right? So, they're having to explain the show to people. Yeah. But it can't be that on the nose. And people were trap door, yeah. That's got to be a coded hint, right? The Duffer Brothers' official statement was, "There is no secret episode. There is no stage 2. We are as sad as you are, and that it's over, but the story is complete." Which is, yeah. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry, right?
I mean, it's oh, so you didn't like the ending. Well, there's nothing else, sorry.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, how bad can you be? I don't know. I mean, I have opinions, but we'll get into them later.
As the creator, how nonchalant can you be about it? Oh, well, yeah, it was bad. Bye, sorry. It's dude. What?
That's kind of what it is, yeah. They just say, it is what it is, Finn Wolfhard, which was Mike, he said, "The ending was always going to be polarizing because you can't satisfy 10 years of expectations in 80 minutes," which is true, right? You're You're gonna upset people based off of whatever your ending is. You're gonna kill a character that's a fan favorite. You're gonna have the bad guy do something that you feel like they shouldn't have. I tell you what, though, the safest route where everybody lives and they live happily ever after and nothing ever happened, nobody gets arrested after murdering soldiers and all this other stuff, like all of that, bananas. It's not real. Yeah. It's worse than a fan theory.
Oh, I agree.
And that I think is like to try to not be polarizing, to have the safe ending was more polarizing than just coming up with something that would piss off some of the crowd.
I mean, I thought for sure that was it Mike or not Mike? Dustin and Steve were gonna die.
Yeah,
together, like fighting off something or something. But no.
Well, they've been saying that they wanted to kill off Hopper forever. They never did.
Yeah,
some of these characters, like from the writing aspect, there was like things that just didn't make sense. Like Nancy and what's his name, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Just like, we're not engaged anymore. But you never were. And I guess they just broke up.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
because I saw this other thing was showing where the ring that Hopper gives to what's her name? I can't remember. Winona Ryder's character. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
The ring that he gives her is the same one that Jonathan had in that cassette box.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But why? What is that besides just like an interesting little connection there?
It was bad.
Like there's a lot of things, like as much as Hopper like lost his mind in the show to protect 11.
Yeah.
He was not that upset when she was gone.
No.
A lot of things like that. And like some people would say like, oh, it's his growth. He already lost one daughter. She chose to do this, blah, blah, blah. Right. But now you're teasing that she's still alive. Like he would be the first person looking for her.
Well, now Mike only tells that to the four of them that are in that room at the end. Mm-hmm. And I did kind of like that idea that maybe because the other girl could change what you see. Mm-hmm. I did like the idea that maybe she left so she wouldn't be hunted by the military. They wouldn't know she's still alive and that she's out there somewhere. I did like that, but that was about it.
Yeah, but what is that besides like just I don't know, maybe there's something else. I don't know. That's the whole show is like, look at this cool creepy thing. I bet you guys don't know what it is. I'm going to tell you eventually. Not. That's the show just never gave you answers. It was lost. It was lost all over again.
Well, another thing that going on the theory that the Mind Flayer was in control of a bunch of stuff was Maxine's brother, Joyce. That's one I know Ryder's character. Mm-hmm. Joyce and then Henry all stood the same way at different times.
Yeah,
with like their hands in front of them, like.
Yeah,
politely looking. There was
a lot of that. Yeah. Like in the graduation scene, there was kids with the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, like Henry Creel had. Yep. All like a lot of them, which was like, and they all sat with their hands folded like that too, which was. People were like, "Why?" And it wasn't even just like a. I know this kind of gets into like, MK Ultra kind of conspiracy level thing, but like they would sit one to the left of each main character, each one of these weird looking kids,
like they're each being controlled,
right? And nobody, like, that's a really odd blocking mechanic for that scene, but it is what it is, and there's no explanation for it, other than these fan theories that it's not that the real ending, it's not the real universe. Well, anyways,
the Duffer Brothers are going, all right, come on, guys, y'all come back for just one more thing. We'll just finish it up.
Well, maybe they had something, and Netflix was like, maybe they wanted to go another season or whatever, and Netflix was like, no, you got to wrap this up now. And they're like, all right, we're going to give you an ending that pisses everybody off, but I don't think the Duffer Brothers are that smart. I know. So some of the behind-the-scenes reasons on why the show sucked in the end, all right? There was a 2023 strike which backlogged production. Basically, this delayed production so much that the kids were in their mid-20s, right? Yeah. So now they're like adults, but they're pretending to be high school kids.
Well, and that kind of goes back to what we talked about in the last episode about it should not take this long to make 8 episodes. It's been 3 years.
It's a production nightmare.
Even with a writer strike, it's 3 years for 8 episodes.
Yeah, they're $50 million episodes.
Yeah.
So I get that it's an expensive, nuke of a show that you're like careful on how to produce And
but throwing that much money should make it move a little faster too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the show was a risk when it came out because it was weird and nobody had ever seen anything like that.
Right, but there wasn't a whole lot to it then either. It
No.
was still a lot of practical stuff.
But because it was so risky, it was successful. And then as the show got produced towards closer to the end, it became more safe, less polarizing, and not afraid to confront they were afraid to confront their audience essentially with like ideas that and stories that would be, I don't know, too much for them or something. And because of that, they gave us this bogus happy ending, and it was just it's a big letdown. But yeah, the kids are like in their mid-20s, and they had to write in, shoehorn a time jump and all of this to make it kind of make sense. And the Game of Thrones syndrome. So the Duffer Brothers reportedly struggled with ending paralysis, which led to 14 different versions of the final script. The version film was, quote unquote, the safest one, designed to protect the brand for future spinoffs. Yeah. Well, I think the safe bet made people kind of fatigued with the story because, this is the end. This is where we're supposed to get like a culmination of answers on how this world works, and we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Who's going to want to sit through a whole nother show of that?
Well, and if there's still people out there with those powers, what's to stop it from happening again?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing was really resolved other than that one instance.
Yeah. Yeah. And because the budget bloat, the $50 million per episode for this season, they focused more on ginormous CGI sets, action pieces, and, like all these crazy environments and monsters and whatnot, instead of like the follow through for the character conversations. And honestly, like, I think it was kind of a plague to the actors too, because they got pretty bad, didn't they?
Well, that's what somebody was saying, is that the girl that plays 11, her whole season was just her going, like, having a crying face or nervous face, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. She definitely took like a back seat compared to some of the other characters, and
well, and then where you're talking about like the rules, some of the stuff didn't make sense. Like in the first season, when she's like a baby child almost, they're riding their bikes and a van's coming towards them, and she launches the van up over them. And then in this, she's struggling. It's been almost 10 years, and she's struggling to lift a car onto its tires.
Yeah, well, she's improved dramatically since then. She can jump to like another planet.
But she can't hardly lift a car that she used to be able to throw.
You're right. It's inconsistent. It's like DBZ level kind of stuff. like, what? Can you blow up a planet or can you blow up this dude, man? Come on.
Well, then, and also in this last season, in the same season, the Demogorgons, you could shoot them with fully automatic fire from a rifle and they just bounces off. Mm-hmm. But then the kid in the tunnels, he kicked it in the face and knocked it down.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now. How strong is that kid?
Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies. I agree. All right, so the psychology of why this show was so upsetting for everybody, and why they created this like delusion of a secret show, of a secret episode.
Because they wanted more.
Well, they wanted the proper ending. So, all right, narrative closure displacement. When a person spends a decade with a character, or let's just say the show, like this show's been something in the back of your mind for a decade.
Yeah.
Right. And you develop something called parasocial interaction. Like you have a sense of normalcy in the story, right? And when it has a bad ending, an ending that you didn't anticipate happening because you trusted the show to have follow through, you have sort of like a denial aspect with it. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, this clearly they're not that dumb, right? Like they should have. They're doing something. They're playing with us because this show's all about trickery, and and then you start tying the red yarn on your map, and smoking your cigarettes, and then next thing you know, like you've come
aliens.
up, yeah, exactly. So that's the precursor to why I think the massive fans kind of like lost their minds over this ending.
Well, and you're talking about shows that lasted 10 years or something, but like for me, Smallville. Loved Superman all the time. The last, is a 2-part finale. There were some inconsistencies where, like, he all of a sudden he's a lot more powerful, but they kind of explained it where he finally accepted himself as being both Kryptonian and human. Mm-hmm. He learns to fly. He puts on the suit. He saves the day. Mm. He gets the girl. So, I mean, it fit. Granted, like I said, there's a few inconsistencies with things, but it made you happy. He finally put on the suit. He finally learned how to fly after 10 years. And then you got like Supernatural, where it had some bad seasons.
Yeah.
But in the end, you knew that one of them was going to die eventually. So Dean dies, and then you kind of get to see a little bit of Sam's life until he meets him again in heaven, and then the show ends. Which it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it because it kind of gave them a closure to everything.
So, all right. The first rule of story writing is why should the story be read, right? Or why should this story be consumed, okay? What makes it different than everything else, all right?
Okay.
Now, if you're continuing the story beyond that original scope, like it has done well, people have appreciated it, it's original or whatever, it's a play that gets people to consume it, right? You've done that. Now the question is, why should it continue?
Because people like it and want it to.
Well, if your answer is money, that's where you get lost. That's where you get Stranger Things.
Right.
That's where you get 15 seasons of Supernatural repeating itself.
But Supernatural wasn't just for the money. It was because fans didn't want them to end.
Yeah.
Fans want them to come back, and they're considering it.
I mean, I get it. Like, it's so much... It is what it is to the point where it's shameless and fans still don't care. So, like, is it a sellout to give the fans what they want? Probably not. I mean, like, everybody's self-aware of that show is just shameless when it comes to, like, making it itself.
Well, I know for Supernatural, after season 3 or 5 or something like that, it was supposed to end with the main story that they had written. And then season after season, they kind of led towards an ending, and then they kept picking it back up because fans wanted it. Like, even the actors were like, it's really coming to an end. There's not a whole lot. And then they would bring it back. So in season 15, they were like, this is it. This is the end, because they wanted to move on to other things.
But fans won't let it go. So
you're right. That's why they're all together again in The Boys.
Yeah. So
people like to see them on screen together.
I mean, I guess if like fans are willing to accept your endings and still demand, and you're still placating to the fans and going through, then sure. But that's like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. That's like a Hallmark, like, I know this romance movie is the same plot as the last 15 romance movies that I've watched, but
I like it.
But I like it, and I'm willing to overlook. I'm willing to suspend disbelief to keep this enjoyment going.
And I think the only reason it worked for Supernatural is because while the show was goofy towards the end, the characters still stayed true to themselves, and people enjoyed seeing the characters in the situation.
Yeah, but under the hood, there's like some, formula that they never abused, right? And they kept that strong. Now, Stranger Things presented itself as a little bit more of an intelligent show.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right?
Well, and at least it was supposed to be.
they betrayed not only like the story to the fans, but also their own formula. Like, these characters were night and day from each other when the show started.
Oh yeah.
And I get like, okay, there's growth, there's character change, and there's just like bananas stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would these characters do things like Joyce, for instance? Her relationship with Will, I get it with all the homosexuality stuff and things that were going on there, and trying to let him spread his wings and whatnot. But she still went with him to do nothing, to watch him attack this giant monster, and stand there with an axe in her hands, and like as a mother, she would still not let him attack a giant monster or whatever. There was some goofy stuff that just didn't make sense.
Well, I think it's the first episode of the final season where these kids have been scared of their own shadow from season 1, and then they got a little braver as it went along, and then all of a sudden in season 5 they're walking the halls threatening the bully that's picking on dust. It's like, come on, man.
Right. Yeah. But on top of that, there's other things too. Like this is the end, apocalyptic planet where the Demogorgons came from, and all this other stuff.
None to be seen.
None. It was just a desert and this weird spire thing.
Yep.
No explanation. Right. So the algorithm trap, because social media algorithms fans fed more of this conformity gate content, And once clicked on the video, it created what's called an echo chamber effect. Within 48 hours, the theory wasn't a theory anymore. It was the only information they were seeing. Nobody official was giving answers to why the show was being dumb. So fans speculated and reciprocated through themselves through lines that made sense. And they cling to that, you know? It's like government conspiracies, right? But like people just were like, oh, it's
Mandela effect.
Yeah, it's a Mandela effect. That's why, you know? So, and that created what's called cognitive dissonance. It's mentally easier to believe that the writers are geniuses.
And there's something more.
Right? And they're just playing a trick, right? The writers
Right?
The writers that I admire would never make a mistake. Now, behind the scenes again, numerous seasons there was a team of like 15 writers. They would have a writer for a specific character. They would have a writer for a specific scene or something. How many writers do you think there were for this season?
2.
There were 3.
I was going to say the Duffer Brothers. Was supposed to say
one other, right?
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people are also thinking that one of the Duffer Brothers recently went through a divorce, and his wife is a showrunner, Fear Street.
Okay, yeah. On Netflix.
Yeah, and she is a pretty good writer from what I understand. I haven't seen any of her stuff.
Fear Street's kind of strange, but it's an interesting horror because it connects all through these. It's like 3 different decades of a trilogy movie. It's pretty interesting.
Some people are speculating that she kind of like unofficially helped guide the Stranger Things storyline.
It would make sense now.
And then, after the divorce, she's like dipped, and then they just were left to try and figure it out for themselves. And
I mean,
it tracks, right? So
he wrote it out, and she approved it.
Yeah. So the bad ending reality check, right? The show started as a story about outcasts fighting the normal world, but the betrayal of all the quote-unquote normal world. The betrayal of all of this is by the ending with everyone paired off in traditional couples and living quiet suburban lives that showed the now quote-unquote conformed to the very thing it originally rebelled against. This is the conformity that the fans felt. They just they were just externalizing it into a conspiracy. So I get it. In reality, you have expectations on how things go, and like if you scratch and you get a lottery ticket win, you're like, your imagination explodes wild, and you think about the yachts and stuff, and then you turn it in and you find out you get like $2,000, and you're like, that's kind of like what that felt like.
Yeah.
So, oh man, all right. So let's talk more about these like these second door theories, right?
Okay.
So more like details and nuance in the show. For instance, there was a VHS analog clue on March 21st. Right?
What?
Yeah, in the show. In the final scene of season 5, there's a blurry stack of VHS tapes on Will's shelf. Fans enhanced the image and claimed that the top tape was labeled 3/21/88. Right? Since the show's final season took place in 1987, fans argued that 1988 represented "quote unquote" the new year. This led to the conviction that March 21st, 2026 was the true release date for the lost episode. So they're still carrying on this delusion.
Why would they release an episode 2 months after the final episode? That would just be too far apart.
Because they're going like
they're just hoping for against hope.
They're going frame by frame trying to find something. That's how desperate people were for a good story, especially when they've been clinging to it forever. So
actually, real quick, going back to the mind flare, and you were talking about there's things in the background. I think it was season 1. Somebody showed that there's a picture of a poster on the wall of what the mind flare looked like before it started moving, when it was still just looked like a castle or whatever. Mm-hmm. There was a poster that had that exact same image in the background in one of their rooms.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of these monsters are based off of D&D stuff in some capacity.
I mean, it was the same like coloring and everything of like the desert world. So it was just kind of strange for that to be there, because that went along with the theory that the mind flare was controlling everything.
So here's a theory that I heard before season 5 came out that I was kind of mad about, is that none of this was real. It was all just a D&D fantasy with Mike and his friends, right? And then at the end, when they're like really mad at Mike wrapping up his campaign, and like everybody lives happily ever after, and they all like that's a lame ending. And he's like, sometimes people just live happily ever after, and that's the end, right? I was like, okay, if I were to believe in the D&D theory that now I could, that's an easier pill to swallow than the whole like, we did it, yeah. So
okay,
but yeah. So another one, Eleven's letter. Okay, a promotional post on the official Stranger Things Instagram featured a picture of a letter written by Eleven. Fans noticed that the first letter of every third line spelled out silence. Again, we're getting into the...
There's some people like really digging into this stuff, huh?
So, the Byler persistence. A massive driver of Conformity Gate was the Byler, Will and Mike fandom. Because the finale ended with Mike and Elle together in a standard heterosexual pairing, fans felt that Will's 5-season arc of pinning was completely discarded. A 5-season arc of pining was completely discarded. So, like there's even the community, like the left community, was like hoping for like this homosexual relationship to blossom out of all of this, and that didn't even like what was that?
Because sometimes straight people are just straight.
Well, yeah, but also like, what was the point of Will coming out, professing his love for Mike, and Mike's like, cool, and then like,
good for you, dude.
And then Will's like, okay, and then that's the end. Like there was no like all of that build up for that character didn't go anywhere either. It was just like they just like, all right, we got 5 pages of script left. Everybody's just done.
Well, you're talking about all this, and I remember I saw something online where somebody had edited these together, but you know how at the end he's talking about Will, he's showing like his future, and he's sitting down at this party or this club, and some guy sits down next to him. Well, because of the time frame, they said, what if that was Jeffrey Dahmer? And then it has the character from the Dahmer movie or the show sit down next to him. They're like, oh my God.
Hey, buddy, you want a party? Yeah.
Come back to my room and party.
All right, so the reality of the behind the scenes, facets on why the secret episode is not going to happen. One is a contractual lock.
It kind of puts a damper on that.
Leaked but unverified reports suggest that the cast's contracts expired on January 31st, 2026. This made the filming of the secret episode for the March release legally and logistically impossible without the union knowing. The reshoot rumor, some insiders claim that there was a different ending filmed where a major character died, but it was a test screened poorly. And the conformity ending was actually a last-minute reshoot to keep the characters available for the Hawkins The Next Generation spinoff. Uh-huh. And then finally, the Duffer burnout. Rumors circulated the Duffer brothers were visibly exhausted and had already moved their offices to new projects for Paramount, signaling that they had mentally checked out of Stranger Things universe months before the finale aired. I believe it.
Yeah.
So, so here's some talking points on why the 7th wasn't the end of the denial. So, like, everybody expected the season finale secret episode to happen on January 7th, and then it didn't happen. Yeah. And then they just kept this craziness going. The Argyle effect. This is named after the season 4 character.
Argyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Fans were, quote unquote, stoned on hope. The savior complex. In modern fandom, fans view themselves as, quote, the protectors of the characters. If the writers fail the characters, the fans feel it's their job to find the hidden truth where the characters are okay. Again, like, we're in denial and we're going to find our own delusions to make this thing happen.
I mean, I enjoyed the show for the most part, and you kind of sound a little crazy there, people.
Well, I mean, honestly, so here's my theory. Let me make sure I'm at the end of my notes here. Yeah. Here's my theory. I think that Netflix was sitting on a gold mine, and I don't think they had the creative means to follow through, just like a lot of shows lately. Yeah. Like, nobody ever writes. It seems like nobody's writing stories nowadays with an end in mind. They're just like, here's a cool concept, and when the characters get to point B, We'll figure it out. And
Netflix is bad about even shows that do have a good thing going on and just canceling it. Like, what was it? Marco Polo.
Marco Polo's great.
That show goes, and then you're introduced the Knights Templar coming through this area, and we're just going to cancel it.
Yep.
Or like Mindhunter. Yeah, it's getting really interesting. Yeah, let's cancel it.
I think Netflix would do Mindhunter if they wanted to.
The people don't want to now. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Like the actors.
Yeah. I think that they knew that they were sitting on a gold mine. It was too big of a fandom to just like let it disappear and fade into obscurity. So they squirted out a lot of money to make this happen. And like the Duffer Brothers not really wanting to follow through. A lot of the actors had moved on. They just said, "Okay, fine, we'll do it for the money, not the fans, the money." And when they pooped out this last season, it was just an end.
Yeah.
And Netflix probably just swallowed it because they were like, "This is going to get so many people talking on the internet, coming up with their own wild, crazy theories, And then even if it's disappointment, it still is internet traffic, which generates revenue.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, So, like, I mean, us talking about how bad it is right now, there's probably, if there's a listener out there that's like, well, I haven't seen the show, but now I'm interested in why everybody's so pissed off. They might go and watch it, And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I am saying, like, my goal as a consumer is if there's capitalism involved, for an entertainment, it should work in the aspect of,
good.
Hey, this show, you liked it. I'm going to make another show that's similar to that. You liked how, and if the users, the consumers don't like a show, that show should die. And so should the other shows that are like that, right? That's how it's supposed to work in the entertainment industry. Yeah. If you find ways to break the rules and milk money out of your failures, then screw you, you're abusing the system.
Yeah.
So...
Well, to me, something like Stranger Things, if you took away this final season, there's a lot. I mean, you could change the kids and have a whole other story.
Yeah.
Because the Upside Down was still a mystery until this final season when they revealed all this stuff about it.
Yeah, and it was so just like, oh, by the way, this is how it works now.
And, I mean... I don't know. I mean, granted, I'm not a physicist or like some super smart person, but the theory that's not how wormholes work.
Yeah,
you're just making stuff up. Why would you call it a wormhole? Why would you not just? It could have just been a parallel dimension.
Yeah,
and you didn't have to have a third spot. I mean,
I don't know. They try to use. Hey, people know what wormholes are. Well, they don't know what they are, but they've heard it before.
It takes you from point A to point B.
Yeah. We can kind of find a sense of relativity with the audience. They'll jump on it.
But the whole thing is like the other planet. There's nothing there but the mind flayer.
Yeah,
like that's it. It just lives there by itself.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't. It was a letdown. A lot of like common sense intricacies with the characters and the universe that we know. Our universe, like people were just like NPCs, like video game characters that just. Well, my job is to be the milkman, or my job is to be an angry army guy. You killed my friends, you know? And then like when the threat was gone, the real threat of the monsters and stuff was gone, everything just like dissolved back to normal.
Yeah.
And it was like inexplicably.
Well, another thing that didn't make sense is that at the end of the movie, or at the end of the show, they come back through, they get captured, and, 11, whatever. You think she dies or whatever as it closes. And then, like you said, they're just let go.
They're just gone.
They've killed like a base full of men.
Yep. Yeah, not to mention all those pregnant women that were in the Upside Down. I guess they're dead.
Pregnant women.
Yeah, remember that episode where I think it was 11 or somebody. No, I can't remember who it was. Somebody was like found all these pregnant women in like the Upside Down base complex. There was like 12, 13 of them. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know.
And yeah, and they just kept running through them. And they're like, "Help me!" And then that's the last you see them. And then they blow up the place. So I guess they're all dead.
Okay, well, I don't know.
They didn't explain that at all either. So again, it's just showing creepy stuff or interesting stuff just to keep you like like fascinating. It's shaking shiny stuff in front of you. Like, hey, pay attention a little bit longer.
Well, because I don't know how true it is, but I've also seen that there's supposedly going to be like Nancy's going to have her own spinoff show.
I don't care.
Well, my whole thing is like, she just all of a sudden is like this detective and like badass with a gun. Like,
So, yeah.
What?
I don't care. I don't know what their thought process is with all of this, and honestly, because you had me up until the finale, right? I was like, all right, I will suspend disbelief if you can follow through.
Yeah.
And when they couldn't, and if they shake the idea in front of me, like all your questions will be answered if you stick around for the next 10 years with this show, no, I'm not doing it.
Well, because like. I was interested when like Will started using powers and stuff, and then it feels like from that point on, from the end of that episode on, it was just like, why?
Why did Vecna choose Will?
Yeah,
nobody knows.
He showed potential.
No, that's not.
And never once did he show potential, but he showed potential according to Vecna.
I don't know. That was. Why did he choose Will as a spy?
I don't know.
What did he spy on?
Good question.
All these things, all these inexplicable things that just happened.
And another thing, like. Why did Vecna finds out, or Henry finds out, that the Mind Flayer's just been using him, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help him anyways.
Exactly.
Why?
I don't know, man. It was just bad writing.
And then they kidnap all these other random children because they have potential that you've never seen or heard of.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers were going to do. They're going to do a show. It was something big. It was Star Wars or Game of Thrones or something, and it got canceled early in pre-production. So I think it's because they can't make a story. They have an idea. I thought it was cute in the early days. Like, oh, look at them making like honorable nods to like the Goonies, and 16 Candles or the Breakfast Club and stuff like that.
Right.
They're taking tropes and they're using them to their own advantage for the story. No, they were just copying. They were just like, all right, let's put monsters in it.
Yeah.
So they're just bad writers. They just were really good at fooling us.
Yeah.
For 5 seasons, 10 years.
Well, I mean, when they do a season and then they leave you to speculate for 2 years, and then they do a season and leave you to speculate for 2 years.
Yeah. They should have just stuck. They should have just picked a fan theory on Reddit and like, all right, let's do that one.
I mean, they were better.
It would have been better.
Any of them would have been better.
All right, there you go. There's my soapbox on why Stranger Things sucked.
Beer. Do we have that?
Today's Junior.
Space dementia.
That's what they had.
Yeah.
He's got space dementia.
There's like 4 buttons, bitch.
Well, my finger hit the other one. I got fat fingers.
All right. What do you got, Mitch?
I'll just go on to our news and reviews since we don't have that much time left.
Okay.
I saw an article where they were talking about there's some reboots or sequels to old shows that are coming out in 2026 that you might not have expected. One of them is Little House on the Prairie.
I did not expect.
Why would they bring that back?
My sisters and my mom would watch that show nonstop, and I hated that show because nothing happened.
They just their life living each day.
Yeah, it's just like it's imagine the Oregon Trail, but like after they make it to wherever they're going, they just like, hey, we made it, and
spend
then,
an episode cutting down a tree.
Yeah, somebody gets lost in the woods and they're found before the end.
It's like, honey, we told you just follow the trail that we've already made.
I don't know.
And it's going to be made by Netflix, so that's going to be true to the source.
I'm sure it will be by the Duffer Brothers.
Number 2 is The Burbs. It'll be on Peacock.
So that's a show?
It was a movie.
Well, I know it's a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah.
Now
it's going to be a show that's like a sequel that's going to be on Peacock.
That's a strange decision. So the Burbs is a weird family. They're kind of like the Addams Family, but darker.
Okay.
And
I've never seen the movies.
Yeah, Tom Hanks plays like a character who's like lives in the white picket fence house and tries to do everything right. And he's real suspicious of these like creepy residents that like move in next door.
Okay.
And then like his suspicions spiral out of control. He starts spying on them. And they appear just weird, not like criminal.
Okay.
Right. And then the ending is something. So
okay,
I'll let you decide it if you ever watch it.
The next one is the Bewitched. It'll be on CBS.
So they've made the show. They made a movie, and now they're going to make another show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one will be like a reboot of the thing. Legally Blonde, there's going to be a show called, I think it's called Elle, and then it's going to be in the Legally Blonde world.
No, does it keep Reese Witherspoon?
She might be like the mom or something like that. I can't remember.
The mom.
But because it's some other new girl. And
Okay.
it's going to be made by Amazon. So.
All right. I never really cared for the movies, to be honest with you.
Prison Break's coming back.
Again?
Yeah. This is like a continuation kind of thing.
I don't
with
even
the same guys.
I don't remember what happened. Didn't one of them die?
I don't know. They didn't die, but I've never watched the show, so I don't know.
How many times can you break out of prison?
Well, evidently one more.
Yeah.
It's going to be made by Hulu.
Okay.
Baywatch. It's going to be on NBC.
Stupid. I don't think that. I don't think that the target appeal for what that show was when it was made
fits now. It's going to end up being like the 911 and like the
like
the
Sheriff Country.
Yeah, it's going to be
Fire.
It's going to end up being like those, just called Baywatch.
Yeah, have you seen like the funny reels of like the ambulance? I guess like the 911 show.
Uh-huh.
There's like actual EMTs, and they're just like, what are these people doing? Like, there's a dude's got like a rocket sticking out of his chest, and they're just like disarming a bomb while trying to keep this guy alive. And these EMT guys are like, just no,
Well, like,
he's dead.
One of the episodes on like the 911 thing was about this giant bee swarm that covers Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What do you do as an EMT? You go in the house and lock the door.
Yeah, go out there and start defibrillating bees like crazy.
Running around holding them in the air. No, let's see. Next one is A Different World, which it's going to be on NBC.
I have no idea what that is.
I mean, it was kind of along the lines of like The Cosby Show and Fresh Prince and stuff like that. But I didn't really watch it a lot. Trying to think of like some big actors that were on it, but I don't know their names. So.
Mm-hmm.
Scrubs. It'll be on NBC.
That's getting a sequel series.
Yeah.
Is what's his name? The guy, the original creator. Is he going to be showrunning this too?
I don't know if the original creator. I know some of the characters are going to be returning.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you got Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair, and supposedly all the people are going to return for that. Like Bryan Cranston, he'll probably have like a small role, like a guest starring every now and then.
Yeah.
But it's going to be about Malcolm, and then both of his brothers are going to appear periodically on and off. So
yeah, the kid, the Malcolm kid,
still looks the same, just slightly older.
Well, like I watched an interview with him years ago, and he said he's done so much hard drugs since that show he doesn't even remember it.
Jeez.
So like
well, I know he did like some NASCAR racing as well at some point.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I don't know if it was NASCAR, maybe Indy racing, but he was like a race car driver for a short time.
Interesting. Maybe he was like something like he got in a wreck or something. I don't remember, but I wonder if he can still pull it off. What's that kid's name?
Freddie. No, not Freddie Prinze.
Was it Zach or I don't know. Anyway,
Freddie Muniz.
Oh yeah.
Or Eddie, something like that. And then the last one is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Frankie Muniz. That's right. The last one's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, New Sunnydale.
Okay.
I don't know how that's going to work, though. I mean, the way they sound is going to be a sequel to the original that happened.
Is what's her name going to be back in it?
I don't remember if this is true or not, but I did read something where they said that she might be the mom of the girl.
Is that what these characters are just like degraded to?
Had kids.
Yeah.
It's either that or she's going to have some kind of role in the show. I just don't remember if it's that or maybe as like the teacher to this new person to teach them how to do and handle these things.
What was her name too? Sarah?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah. That was made by
Joss Whedon.
Yes, and he's been canceled. So I don't know if what they're going to do about that.
I don't know. Netflix has a new show or new movie coming out this week. I think it's January 18th that it comes out. But it's called The Rip, where it's Ben Affleck, Matt Damon returning together on screen.
Yeah, since when? I'm trying to think. Like Dogma?
Goodwill. Oh, so no, yeah.
Maybe Dogma.
But there's some kind of like Miami detectives or something, but they're like involved in this underground stuff that they're trying to.
Are you co-op?
I don't know if they're trying to stop it or being a part of it.
Are you co-op? Forget about it.
And then Star Wars, that fandom rejoiced recently.
Yeah, so she's not official in Star Wars, but I read some articles that Kathleen Kennedy is not like out.
She's not the final decision maker anymore.
She's not the final decision. It sounds like Dave Filoni gets more creative control, which is, I think, a smart move.
Yeah,
because Star Wars has been dead in the water for a while.
Yeah.
But I still don't trust anything anymore. So,
well, I know this year they've got The Mandalorian and Grogu coming out, Ahsoka season 2, and then Darth Maul Shadow Lord, which is an animated show.
That Darth Maul show starring Darth Maul.
And then I don't know if it's this year or if it's going to be 2027, but they have the Starfighter show.
The Ryan Gosling thing.
Yeah, the trailer, because I think they've already got like a short teaser trailer. It looked pretty cool.
Okay.
So I'm interested in those. And then lastly, Amazon, they're still continuing with the pre-production of these 5 video games into TV shows, which is God of War, which we've talked about before.
Who's going to play Kratos?
I don't know. I haven't seen any kind of like official announcement. Because that one's closer to actually being made than some of the others. Okay. Other than Warhammer, which is Henry Cavill will be part of it.
Yeah. Is that a video game? Would you call it a video game?
I would say so.
Tabletop, something.
I mean, because that's what Space Marines is. We played that.
It's based off a tabletop game.
Well, right, but still considered a video game.
In the lore.
Then they have Wolfenstein, which I don't know how to make that.
I don't know either. They're like I played the original DOS game back in the day, which was fun. It was just shooting Nazi zombies or whatever, and you're like 1 frame per second video game. But like I played a Wolfenstein game that came out a couple years ago, and there was just like exposition and lore and like it felt like, Call of Duty Nazi zombies, where they have this through plot that nobody really cares about, or like whatever, when do I get to shoot zombies? That's what it felt like. So for them to make a show or whatever out of it, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the movie Overlord was basically that, where they drop them in and they find they're experimenting and make zombies.
Right. Yeah.
Then they have Mass Effect, which they're supposedly working on a TV show for that.
They've been talking about that forever.
They'll ruin it like they did Halo. They'll just make it some kind of weird.
Well, I don't know if so. Casey Hudson's the guy who made the original Mass Effect trilogy, and it is well written science fiction. Like,
but they're not going to follow the story.
I mean, Fallout did. They got Todd Howard to be the executive producer and essentially corral the story from Jonathan Nolan, who's the showrunner, but Todd Howard is like, no, you can't say it. He has the right to say no.
In the article that I read, the reason that they're optioning these to be made is because of the successful Fallout.
Right. And if they get Casey Hudson for Mass Effect to showrun, which apparently he's back for Mass Effect 4 coming out.
Okay.
Then I'll be down for it.
And then the last one they have is Life is Strange, which I've never played that. Have you?
No, it's kind of like a girl. I think like if you had to pick a target audience, it would be for like girls. But it's kind of like a horror murder kind of thing, if I understood. But there's some supernatural stuff going on with it.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I knew it had some kind of supernatural thing about it, but I didn't know what it was. I've never
a little bit of coming of age stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of like a Telltale game, I guess you could say. It's not.
Okay.
It's not, but it is like a very heavy narrative.
Gotcha. Like choice driven.
Right.
Okay.
So, but it'd be interesting to see. They'd have to do something different from the source material because it's pretty narrow. Like Fallout works, the show. Yeah. Because there's so much lore. You can find a gap and make your own story.
I've noticed a lot of things like people online will be like, "Oh yeah, did you see that Easter egg for this?" And it's just some random thing that's sitting in the background, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, Fallout's been around for 30 years, more than.
Yeah.
So they can get away with doing stuff like that. To have a newer game, Mass Effect is pretty big. Maybe you could do it, but like a Life is Strange, where it's just like I think it's got 2 or 3 games, and they're very like 4 or 5 characters that are, I don't know, I can get away with that. So.
Well, I mean, I do like how, like in Fallout, they just got to New Vegas.
Yeah.
Or Las Vegas, but they haven't called it New Vegas yet. But
they haven't?
No.
I think it takes place after the video game New Vegas.
I don't know. The only thing, they haven't called it New Vegas like the people, and then the sign still said Las Vegas as they got close to it on the road.
Yeah, I'm watching it. We just finished season 1 again. I watched it again, but my wife hadn't seen it, so we're going through it now. Yeah,
And then they come. Well, I won't reveal all of it, but they come across the one thing the ghoul's afraid of at the end of this most recent episode.
It's probably a death claw. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody's afraid of it.
Yeah.
As a player, I was terrified of it.
And they make it look terrifying, and like just not because of just the way it looks, but because of what it does.
Yeah.
And it hadn't even attacked anybody.
Really?
But it looks terrifying.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm for it.
It's kind of funny that video games are that so many shows are adapting from video games or movies, and I think it's probably because they're kind of on the front of storytelling nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the biggest entertainment industry right now. It's video games, and probably movies are, instead of like, you know, when we were kids, a movie would come out and there'd be a crap game that would be based off of it, or like a direct correlation to it. Now it's kind of like the opposite. Right. So it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, because like every Disney movie that come out, you had the video game on Super Nintendo with it. Like Aladdin and Lion King.
The Lion King game. Bro, you know why the Lion King was so hard? Why? Because they didn't want kids to be able to beat it when they rented it from Blockbuster. Uh-huh. They wanted you to have to like rent it numerous times or buy the game.
Yeah.
So that's why they made it so difficult.
Okay. That makes sense.
I did beat it. I rented it like 6 times. But I did beat it though.
I will not beat it.
No. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That was a thing.
Every episode you're like, we're finally done.
Yeah. Made it to an hour, everybody. Thank you. I don't know. Again, the way entertainment's going, I don't know if it's because of streaming, if it's because of clicks on the internet, if it's because of, I don't know, it's an algorithm. Mm-hmm. But like, entertainment is weird right now, and I'm afraid that people won't care what they like or don't like anymore. They're just going to be made to watch stuff. You know, it'll be like the 90s all over again. You just watched what was on TV because you didn't have any other choice.
Yeah.
Well, we've been inundated for the past 20 years of having our own options. Mm-hmm. But you know, you always had your go-to movie in the 90s. You always had something that you loved and you could watch whenever you wanted. Now, it might be the exact opposite, kind of like a weird, dark interpretation of, well, you don't like anything anymore, but that's okay because you're still going to watch this crap, you know? And, you know, if I don't like Stranger Things, but that's the only thing that people are talking about, will I be a product of the internet where if I can't have a conversation with a person unless we talk about what we've been seeing online? I don't know. Is that the future of our world? I hope not.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows that you and Tom watch. I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
But real quick, talking about the video game ones, I did see just a couple of articles or a couple of posts and stuff where the people from the Arc Raiders game said that people have approached them as far as like different studios about making adaptations of the game into either a movie or a show, which I think would be interesting because at least for the moment, it's very open interpretation of what this world is.
I have no idea what's going on in the world. I skip most of the dialogue. I'm just like, when can I get back to looting trash? Yeah.
Yeah, you and Tom, I'm like, all right, just let me know if you see this. You're like, I found a spring. Yeah. I got some cloth. I'm like, no. I need a full humidifier.
I think another thing too is I'm just kind of fatigued with games because I just got invested in Battlefield, and then the new shiny thing, Arc Raiders, came out, and I'm just like, this is like the 8th game that I've sat down and be like, this is gonna be my game for a while, and I don't know if I just want to give up all that energy knowing that something else is gonna come out 3 months from now.
Well, I know right now Arc Raiders is the most fun I've had playing a game with other people in a long time.
Yeah,
because you don't have to fight everyone.
Nope.
And you can get in there and do ridiculously stupid things.
Yep.
Like I had a friend standing on top of a building. Well, the Rocketeer started getting close. He jumped on top of it and just started hitting it with a hammer until it died.
Let's go play.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Well, our mindless banter, and typically there's just 3 of us, so make sure you get on his social media and give him crap. I don't know. We'll just forward all the entertainment. Entertain this messages to Tom.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, check us out on our social media, entertainthispodcast.com.
Yeah. I was just going to say that me and Tom did play Arc Raiders like another match or two after you left. And we get up to this one guy. And Tom's like, I really want to kill somebody. I was like, okay. So he saw somebody in the distance. He's like, what about this guy? I was like, all right. Yeah. So we walked up and we saw his buddy was way down the hall. And I looked up at the other guy. I shut the door to where his buddy couldn't get to him quickly. I shut that and we walked up. And about the time he said, don't, I went, brrr! And then he was down and Tom just walks up to him and looks at him and just hoses him with the gun.
You could have just punched him.
It was fun, though.
You made that personal.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.